Hello, Assalamualaikum. Dr. Azan Nizam, can we test your mic and camera again?
Test your mic and camera.
Waalaikumsalam.
Sure.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you, Doctor. Okay, so everything's good, Doctor? How's your line?
Okay.
How's your internet connection? Everything's good?
InsyaAllah, okay, good.
Okay, insyaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Razman. Is Dr. Razman here?
Yeah.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, Doctor. Very good morning to you. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Sehat, Doctor?
Right.
Okay, so we just gonna test your mic. Mungkin doktor boleh try cakap sikit untuk kita nak test. Okay.
Cakap sikit.
Okay. Nice one, Doctor.
Okay.
Okay, so I think everything's good there. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Okay.
Okay, last one, can we test Datuk Zuraida? Datuk Zuraida, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, Doctor. Very good morning. How are you doing? Doktor pula, Datuk. Sorry. sorry. Datuk sihat, Datuk?
Alhamdulillah, thank you. I'm good. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, okay. I think that's good. Thank you so much, Datuk.
Yeah, most welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so do we have Professor Dr. Nuriati Ahmad, our Dean here? Ada ke? Oh, okay, belum. Tak pop up lagi. Prof. Nuriati ada. Mungkin belum masuk kot. Okay, tak apa. Nanti kalau dah ada kita test pula.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Pak suara satu dua dengar saya? Assalamualaikum. Testing. Cubaan suara 1, 2, 3.
Assalamualaikum, Prof. Dr. Nuriati dah masuk ke? Our Dean. Are you there, Prof?
Sorry, I don't know which platform did I enter, but I saw all of you this morning. I'm very sorry.
Okay, Prof. I think we can hear you clearly. Okay.
Are we starting? Oh, we have our guest here.
Yes,
Assalamualaikum. Yang berbagi Dato' Dr. Ahmad Razman, as well as, if I'm not wrong, is our
Waalaikumsalam.
Maaf, Zan. Everybody okay? I wasn't able to use the backdrop because it was like macam opposite. It's, so it doesn't look good, so I just used this background. I hope you don't mind.
It's okay, Prof. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Prof, sorry Prof. Prof punya backdrop tu nampak terbalik ke?
Yes.
It will look like that, but nanti bila kita tengok it look normal. Dia tak nampak terbalik.
Okay. Because in Webex it does look like that. Okay, never mind. I'll try. Otherwise, we can just have that. Yeah. I don't want to actually delay the forum itself. Kesian I was analyst. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prof.
No problem. There.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? Before we start with our program, I would like to kindly remind you to turn off your microphone and turn on your camera, and please do put up the background that has been provided to you by our committee members. If you have any questions related to this program, please ask during the Q&A session. For participants in Microsoft Teams, please raise your hand and unmute your mic to ask a question. And participants in YouTube, please type in your question into the chat box. And remember to use appropriate language while asking a question. Thank you for your cooperation. I'm sorry, there is a technical issue that is ongoing at the moment. I hope everyone can be patient as we are going to start our forum in a short moment. Thank you very much.
Sorry, let me try again. Satu dah boleh kasih dah. Boleh kasih. So, tak apa.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? Before we start with our program, I would like to kindly remind you to turn off your microphone and turn on your camera. And please do put up the background that has been provided to you by our committee members. If you have any questions related to this program, please ask during the Q&A session. For participants in Microsoft Teams, please raise your hand and unmute your mic to ask a question. And for participants in YouTube, please type in your question into the chat box. And remember to use appropriate language while asking a question. Thank you for your cooperation. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and salam UiTM di hatiku. Our honorable guest, Dr. Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid, Adjunct Professor, Faculty Business and Management and Chief Economist at Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad. Datuk Zuraida Muhammad Said, Adjunct Professor of Faculty Business and Management and the Vice President Support Business of Telecom Malaysia. Associate Professor Dr. Ahmed Razman Abdul Latif from Putra Business School. Professor Dr. Nayati Ahmad, Dean and Faculty Business Management UiTM Campus Puncak Alam. Dr. Azhan Rashid Senawi, Advisor of Business Economics Student Society Selangor, or also known as BES. Dr. Nur Azira Zahida Muhammad Azhar, Dr. Nur Rashida Osman, and Madam Zuraida binti Ismail, Advisor of Post-Budget 2022 Forum, lecturers and students. Dear guests, to bless our event this morning, I would like to invite Ifan Hakimi bin Azmi to recite the dua. Please welcome Ifan Hakimi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Ya Rahim, praise to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Peace and blessings be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions and for those who followed his example to the judgment day. Allahumma ya Allah, on this blessed morning, in conjunction with the Post-Budget 2022 Forum, leveraging digitalization for socio-economic resilience, we beseech thee and grateful towards you in favor of all the infinite blessing to us, your humble servants, to live in safe and prosperous life. We seek your blessing for a flawless progress of this event from the beginning until the end. We seek your guidance to steer clear of events that would be detrimental to the progress of this event. Ya Latif, Ya Rahman, please bless us with your tawfiq and hidayah. Please guide us to greatness, peace, glory, and prosperity in this world and the hereafter. Make us responsible intellectuals. Grant us with your valuable knowledge that will be beneficial to the mankind in order to gain your blessing. Make us your righteous servant that follows your commands and neglects the sinful act. Please forgive us for our wrongdoing. Ya Munzilal Barakat. Bestow peace to our beloved country, Malaysia. Preserve us from any threat and disaster, either a man-made or natural disaster. And to you, Ya Allah, we ask for security and prosperity upon us, our leaders, and our country. Bestow patience in us in order to face the challenges from you. Please accept our deeds and please reward us accordingly. ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين آمين يا رب العالمين.
Amin, Amin, Rabbal Alameen. Thank you, Irfan Hakimi, for such a beautiful recitation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite all of you together to strengthen the spirit of our patriotism by singing our national anthem, Negaraku, Wawasan Setia, Warga UiTM, and the UKM song, Varsity Kita. I would also like to invite everyone here to raise their right hand and put it on their left chest as a sign of respect to our national anthem.
Bersatu kita warga UiTM, kita bangsa perkasa. Badan setia untuk negara, penuh semangat wajar. Kita jangan mudah terlupa pengorbanan perjuangan anak bangsa. Kita jangan mudah terleka kemajuan keamanan yang ada. Kita berterima kasih pada pemimpin-pemimpin negara. Kita rasa penuh bersyukur kerahmatan kemuliaan darinya. Bila bertemu pewaris bangsa. Kita berterima kasih pada pemimpin-pemimpin negara. Kita rasa penuh bersyukur kerahmatan kemuliaan darinya. Bila bertemu pewaris bangsa, kamilah penangan bangsa Malaysia. Kamilah warga berwawasan.
Before we start, I would like to apologize for the unprecedented technical issues due to unprecedented circumstances. Hopefully, our forum will go on smoothly from here on out. Now, a gentle reminder, before we start with our montage video, please turn off your microphone and turn on your camera. Thank you very much. Now, we are going to watch a montage video that will be played by the multimedia team. Please enjoy. My dear honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is truly a pleasure to welcome all of you to today's event, the Post-Budget 2022 Forum. We would like to extend our gratitude to all of you for blessing us with your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, the Post-Budget Forum is an annual event organized by the Business Economics Student Society, also known as BES, from UiTM Cawangan Selangor campus Puncak Alam. The students from Economy Society of UiTM Kota Baru, Economy Society of UiTM Kota Kinabalu, and the Economics Club of Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. For this year, in accordance with the vision and mission to empower the students, once again, we are given the opportunity to organize this forum. BES took the challenge again this year and deliver our task wholeheartedly. Also, I would like to convey my appreciation to our advisors, Dr. Azhar Rashid Sanawi, Dr. Nur Azira Zahidah Muhammad Azhar, Dr. Nur Rashida Osman, and all of the committee members of Post-Budget 2022 for making this event a reality. Hopefully, we can prove to everyone that students' empowerment is relevant and realistic. Ladies and gentlemen, the Post-Budget 2022 is a platform for all to listen, analyze, and discuss the key highlights of Malaysian Budget 2022. We are so honored to have prominent scholars and professionals as our panels for today. Before we start, I would like to invite our Dean from the Faculty of Business Management UiTM Puncak Alam, Professor Dr. Noryati Ahmad, to deliver her keynote speech. Without further ado, please welcome Dr. Noryati Ahmad.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emir Zarif, MC for this event today. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and salam UiTM di hatiku. Our honorable distinguished forum panelists, Dr. Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid, Adjunct Professor for the Faculty of Business Management, as well as the Chief Economist, Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Zuraida Muhammad Said, Adjunct Professor, Faculty of Business Management and Vice President, Support Business of Telecom Malaysia, Dr. Ahmed Razman Abdul Latif, Associate Professor, Putra Business School, respected Dr. Zarina Danan, Deputy Dean of Academic, Associate Professor Dr. Amirul Afif, Deputy Dean of Research and Innovation, Dr. Noor Faradila, Deputy Dean of ICANN, Tuan Syed Ashrin Syed Omar, Deputy Dean of Student Affairs, Faculty of Business Management, Dr. Azhan Rashid, Advisor to this beautiful project, Professor Puan Azita Doli, Muhammad Arifin, Head of Department Economics and Financial Services, Puan Zuraida Ismail, Economics and Insurance Cost Coordinator, of course, the hardworking organizing committee, beloved Faculty of Business Management lecturers and students. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the merciful, and his messenger, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who taught us the meaning of life, who bless us with rizki to meet today. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome all of you to the Post-Budget 2022 Forum entitled Leveraging Digitalization for Socio-Economic Resilience. which is organized by Business Economic Student Society, Selangor. First and foremost, I'm very honored to be here today to officiate this auspicious event alongside the students from BES Society UITM Puncak Alam, Econ-Based Society of UITM Kota Baru, Econia Society of UITM Kota Kinabalu, and Economic Clubs of UKM. I was informed that this post-budget forum was last held in 2018 with another title, and this is the second event being organized for this year. Congratulations to all the post-budget committee members for once again making this forum happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic chosen for today's forum is definitely appropriate and timely. The crisis that developed globally following the spread of COVID-19 pandemic has strongly highlighted the importance of sustainability from a social, environmental, also from the economic point of view. At the same time, this notorious virus has pushed digitalization everywhere, which accelerates digital adoption and rethinking business models. Suddenly, digital technology have played a pertinent role in ensuring societal function in a new norm. In effect, it triggers a smart economy where consumers and businesses resort to alternative ways of working and communicating using new tools and methods that they have never considered before. Realizing the impact of digitalization, the government in its 12th Malaysian Plan has focused on advancing digital skills in Malaysia, increasing Malaysia's competitiveness through digitalization and building and enabling digital infrastructure as part of Malaysian digital blueprint, particularly in the public sector. In fact, under the recent budget 2020, a substantial amount of budget allocation has been apportioned to quicken technology adoption and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really delighted that this forum is being organized today, as it provides participants and specifically students with the opportunity to hear opinions and views from our esteemed and distinguished panelists on how we can leverage digitalization to achieve social economic resilience. Additionally, this forum also promotes and strengthens our relationship with our industry as well as our university partner. Hence, I urge our participants today to take full advantage of the benefit that this forum can offer you. Before I end my welcoming speech and officiate this forum, I would like once again to congratulate the organizing committee that worked very hard to make this forum a reality. Wishing everyone a successful and fruitful forum. With that, in the name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I hereby officially open this post-budget 2020 forum, leveraging digitalization for socio-economic resilience. Thank you so much. Take care, stay safe, and please observe strictly the SOP. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Nayati, for the warm and thoughtful words. Now, let's proceed with today's main objectives. Therefore, I would like to pass the floor to our moderator for today, Ahmad Ashraf Fahmi. Without further ado, please welcome Ahmad Ashraf Fahmi.
Thank you so much, Emir, my fellow friend, as the MC for today. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, everyone. So, I'm Ashraf Fahmi, a student from BA 250, Business Economics. And of course, I'm very proud to welcome all of you today to today's event, which is the Post-Budget 2022 Forum with the theme of leveraging digitalization for socio-economic resilience. So for your information, today's program is an annual event which is being held by the Business Economics Student Society Selangor, BEST JOITM Puncak Alam. But what's special about this year's event is we are collaborating with 3 other universities, which are Economist Society UiTM Cawangan Kelantan, Campus Kota Baru, Econia Society UiTM Cawangan Sabah, Campus Kota Kinabalu, and Economics Club of University Kebangsaan Malaysia. So we have quite an audience today from various universities, and we would like to appreciate your presence to collaborate and to be here with us. So therefore, before we dive deep into the topic of our discussion, I would like to briefly introduce you to our beloved and awesome panels. Well, even they are very known in their line of work, but we'll just go through each and every one of them. So our first panel for today's forum is the Honorable Dr. Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid, Chief Economist at Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad. So Dr. Afzal Nizam, he is a key person that we invited to represent the banking industry. Hence, I would like to thank you so much, Dr. Afzal Nizam, for joining us, and we are very much honored to host you today. Next up will be Datuk Zuraida Muhammad Said. So, she is currently the Vice President of Support Business for Telekom Malaysia. Welcome, Dr. Zuraida, and thank you so much for your time and willingness to be with us today. Such an amazing and inspiring figure for us to look up to. And lastly is a key person where we brought to you guys on the education line. We have Dr. Ahmad Razman Abdul Latif. He's an associate professor at Putra Business School. So thank you so much, Dr. Razman, for joining us today. We are hoping to hear a lot from your point of view for our discussion afterwards. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we start our forum today, let's all take some pictures together with our panels, and I hope all of you can turn on your camera for us to take pictures together.
So, okay, I will be handled for the photo session. So, there will be 2 rounds of photo session. For the first one, are the picture of the moderator, the dean, and the panelists. So, please be ready. Okay, countdown in 3, 2, 1. All right, for the next session is the picture of everyone. So, to everyone, please open your camera. Okay, countdown in 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay, thank you. Pass to the moderator.
Okay, thank you so much from the technical team. So, and thank you to everyone for your cooperation. Now, I think all of you have saw the montage earlier in a brief of what is Budget 2022 is all about. Well, I think some of us may have heard it live when it was presented at Dewan Rakyat by our Minister of Finance. Well, indeed, Budget 2022 with the theme of Keluarga Malaysia Makmur Sejahtera has been something that all of us are looking forward to. For almost 2 years, we have dealt with this pandemic, and hopefully, moving forward towards the endemic phase, this budget is very, very vital to boost our economy post-pandemic. So from budget 2022, a total of 332.1 billion has been allocated for this year's budget. Another history breaker with the highest amount of budget ever presented. And with that amount, 233.5 billion is allocated for operations, 75.6 billion for development, 23 billion for COVID-19 fund, and lastly, 2 billion for contingent savings. So my dear panels, as a start for our forum today, which is our first round. So this round will be a very general and a very brief of questions. So we'll start first with Dr. Afzan Nizam. So doctor, what is your general opinion on the recent budget, and does the presentation of the budget meet the requirements to the people, and do every Malaysian benefit from it? On to you,
Okay,
doctor.
sure. Thank you, Ahmad. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Prof. Noryati, Dean of Faculty of Business Management, guest panelists, Dr. Zuraida, Dr. Razman, lecturers, and also fellow students. Thank you for inviting me in this event. I'm so humbled to share my opinions, and I really hope that whatever I've shared here today will be beneficial to all of us. Okay, basically, what is my thoughts on the budget 2022? I think my immediate reaction to that, I think the government is trying their level best to strike a delicate balancing act. You know, on one hand, we continue to see the economy is still being negatively affected by the COVID-19. I think the recent announcement on the third quarter GDP last week, the economy went into a technical recession. Yeah, if you look at the Q-on-Q numbers, the country has been continued to record 2 consecutive quarters of contraction. So that very much, a classic definitions of technical recession. So in that sense, the economy is still in recession, and although a lot of measures has been put in place, the country is still struggling to register a respectable growth. But alhamdulillah, I like to think with the swift response in respect to the vaccination program, and now we have been seeing that the uplifting of the interstate travel ban should be able to provide supports to the economy, and thereby perhaps that could really explain why the government is targeting GDP growth of between 5.5% to 6.5%. So that's on the COVID-19 related, which is very much prevalent in terms of affecting our economy and our well-being. On the other spectrum, we have a series of so-called stakeholders coming from the financial markets, in particular the credit rating agencies. I think last year Fitch Rating has actually downgraded us by 1 notch from from A minus to BBB plus, and S&P rating, while they are still keeping their rating at A minus, but their outlook is still negative. So that would mean risk of a downgrade by S&P is still very much visible. Moody's also still keeping their existing rating of A3, but with a stable outlook. So what I'm trying to say is that the government is trying to strike a balance between ensuring the need of the rakyat, and but at the same time try to keep their financials in order. Because if let's say these credit rating agencies simultaneously downgraded us, I think the situation would be worse off for everyone. We could see extreme volatility in the exchange rates. We could see a massive capital outflow, and thereby that could actually affect our liquidity. While these factors may not be appreciated by the man on the street, but I like to think this particular matrix would need to be addressed. Otherwise, it can wreak havoc, and it will creating this waves of calamities in our economy. So I think the government is trying their best to balance those two factors. But Alhamdulillah, I think one of the key measures that was announced, obviously, Cukai Makmur. You can see when it was announced, of course, during the post budget, we can see our FBM KLCI. I think they have went down, close to 40 points, and our recent engagement with the Ministry of Finance tax division, they have highlighted three key sectors that will be affected by this Cukai Makmur: manufacturing, banking, and utilities. So you can see banks are also affected, and that will mean Bank Islam will also have to pay more in terms of this tax. So I think the government is trying to, like I said again and again, they're trying to strike a balance. So that, at least from the eyes of the credit rating agencies, the government is serious about keeping their budget gap within a tolerable level. And true enough, they are targeting that the deficit could be narrowed to 6% of GDP next year from 6.5% this year. So another key takeaway from this budget also, I think all of us need to be prepared, in terms of the taxations. I think, we have Cukai Makmur one-off, but I think taxes like GST might make a comeback. And we know that in our past experience is going to be inflationary. So while GST is only one of the tax system, but what I'm trying to say is that we also need to be aware of the potential policies that can affect us in the immediate terms, but it's actually for the betterment for our medium to long term. So my take overall, Ahmad, I think very much striking the right balance between providing supports to our Malaysians folks, and also at the same time to keep our budgetary position in a healthy manner. So that's my overall takeaway.
Thank you so much, Dr. Azlan Isam. I think I could agree with you at times where the government introduced Cukai Makmur, which is like a one-off tax for large corporates who gain profits more than 100 million per year. I mean, maybe that's another initiative where to balance the economy on both sides between the large corporates and also the MSME. So, but we'll move on to our next panel, which is Datuk Zuraida. Datuk Zuraida, are you here with us? Can you turn on your camera, Datuk? Okay, I think maybe Datuk Zuraida is experiencing some technical problem. Okay. Okay, I think while we wait for Datuk Zuraida, maybe we can proceed with our next panel first, which is Dr. Razman. So Dr. Razman, to keep it short and precise, maybe on your point of view, what is your take or general opinion on this recent budget? On to you, Dr. Razman.
Okay, thank you, Ashraf, and also thank you to the organizer for inviting me to this forum, as well as Dr. Afzal Nizam, my online buddy, all this while, because we have been almost together in every budget session. In fact, during the budget itself, we were on radio, National FM, throughout the budget. And then we had a session together during the night itself from 9:30 to 10:30. And we are so close, and you can see, even though we didn't call each other, we know what to wear, what color shirt we want to wear. It's blue batik. Okay, and also Datuk Zuraida, if she's still around. And well, when you want to ask my opinion on budget, well, it depends on who's asking. Because every person asking us what this budget is all about. Perhaps they want to also know what's in it for us. So when we had the discussion of budget normally it address the general population, and I assume for this forum, since a majority of the attendants actually the young people, then perhaps the student, the young people, the millennials probably want to know what's in it for us. Because Dr. Afzal Nizam, once after we finish our session that night at 10:30 that Etika TV, I received a call from someone who want me to give feedback on this budget so that he can submit to the chief opposition head apa? What do you call it? Ketua Pembangkang, something like that lah. Malam tu juga. So, and a few days after that,
Dia tak mau.
and few days after that, Prime Minister itself, Sri Ismail Sabri, has asked a group of professors to give feedback. Just be frank to him. He said, anything good about the budget, just tell him. Things that need to be improved, also tell him. So everyone is asking, is the budget is going to be game changing? Is it going to kickstart the economy? Is it going to address the COVID-19 by next year? And basically, if you want to ask my short summary, it's a brave budget. As Ashraf mentioned, it's the largest budget ever announced. Actually, every year is the largest budget because our economy is keep expanding. And but we are expecting this because when we heard the presentation by the government on the the 12th Malaysian plan, government is committed to spend about 400 billion for the next 5 years on the development expenditures. So when we look into 400 billion divided by over 5 years is equivalent to 80 billion per year. And we notice that for the budget 2022, the government has decided to allocate 75.6 billion for development expenditure. So meaning that this is the largest development expenditure ever allocated, and this is something that what government is willing to do, meaning spend big, so that there will be a bigger multiplier. And of course, another opinion from mine, they have to spend big, but they also have to be careful not to make a fatal mistake, because we're probably aware next year is going to be election year. So that's why there's no imposition or reintroduction of GST. And they just targeted the rich bankers like Dr. Afzal Nizam, prosperity tax. But I think Dr. Afzal Nizam, maybe next year it's time for you to renovate your office. Increase your OPEX so that your profit will be lower. So no need to pay higher tax. No, just kidding. But then, so there's no GST, but the government also had to take into effect that only 18 is in effect starting next year. I think starting January 2032, those 18 above will be registered to vote, and that's an increase of additional like 1.3 million new voters. And by 2023, they expected that 7.8 million new voters will be eligible to vote. So because of that, the budget also must be youth friendly. And we have seen that there are many allocations, many initiatives meant for the youth. I think you guys still managed to get this e-wallet, 150 ringgit e-wallet. There's lots of apprenticeship, internship, training, upskilling, reskilling, all those opportunities to the young, especially also to, especially with regards to the job offering under MyStep contract works. So, and also lots of development infrastructure work to encourage micro enterprise, also young entrepreneurs to start applying for grant and starting their business, especially for next year. So this is my short summary. Basically, it's a brave, expensive budget, and the government has to tread carefully how to increase the revenue to cater for the expenditures, but not to severely punish the population through the new taxes, but through the generation of new income, new economy, especially digital economy, and to manage the expenditures carefully, focusing on more towards the high impact kind of initiative, so that the economic multiplier will be felt throughout all type of recipients. Thank you, Ashraf.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yeah, I think your question is relevant. Like your answer would be precisely more on who's asking it. Of course, our audience are mostly our students and youth. So, but we'll get back into that on our second round question, Doctor. So, we'll move on. We'll stay in the first round. So, we'll move on to our next panel, which is Datuk Zuraida. Datuk Zuraida, are you here with us? Okay, I think Datuk Zuraida is still having some technical issues there. Okay. So yeah, I think we need to give some time for. Okay, Datuk, are you there, Datuk?
Shraf, I cannot come. I tak boleh masuk lah, Mazda. Please tell them. Somebody muted me. Ada
Oh,
orang
really?
kotor, I tak boleh masuk.
Oh, okay, but we can hear you. Just can you turn on your camera, Datuk?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, of course.
Oh, all right, okay. Something is, yeah, okay. I cannot turn on my camera. Something is not right here, but I can just do the comment, Ashraf.
Oh, okay, it's okay, Doctor. Maybe
I'm so sorry, there's something wrong immediate. All of a sudden, it's all gone. You see?
Yes, it's okay, Datuk. It's okay, no problem.
Yeah, the main thing is that now I can talk, right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sorry for all the glitches. All right. First and foremost, would like to thank UiTM for this session. All right. If we talk about general opinion, of the recent budget, I would say that overall was good, and it is it's like I would say this is catching up from all the previous moment of with the pandemic COVID-19. Yeah. So if we look into the budget 2022 is picking up. Yeah. Especially on digitalizations and technology. Yeah. If we look into the budget, there's a lot focus, on digitals, all right, at all levels, yeah. So if we look into the main point that has been mentioned is mobilize, the nation towards digital connected to economy, yeah. So we are talking about 5G, yeah. We are talking about fourth industrial revolution, yeah, to support among others, yeah, the new working and learning norm, yeah. And if we look into the situations, yeah, in line with our ongoing structural reform over the medium term, yeah, outlined in also initiative that in the budget that has been mentioned about national investment aspiration, yeah, perkukuh pelabuhan rakyat, yeah, that is the perkukuh initiative to support medium to long term, yeah, sustainable economic growth, improve also the social economic inclusions and enhance, yeah, environmental sustainability. So if we look into this 2022 budget, yeah, the government is will prioritize on the economic and the new source of growth, yeah. If we look, it is of course into speeding up the recovery and strengthening the economy resilience and catalyzing the reform, yeah. This is also all this initiative that has been said, yeah, are all in line and core thrust of the recent announce of the 12th Malaysian Plan. And if we look into all these digitalizations, it is impacting a lot of even the students, whereby there's a lot of fund that is being given, in terms of moving forward, like e-commerce, like the industry, and also to strengthen the enablers, where if you look into the government initiative like Jendela and the National Digital Network, we are looking into end-to-end infrastructure enhancement to ensure that we are at par with the world. If you look into the world ranking of our internet access, we are top 50 actually. We are not left behind as compared to many of other countries that has no internet access or no internet facilities. So Alhamdulillah, if we look into this, we are so lucky. And there's a lot of scheme, that the government has imposed for budget 2022, with regards to helping the SMEs to grow, which they have badly impacted in terms of the pandemic. So that will help a lot, and also in relation to all the fresh graduate students that is going out, to be exposed to the world at the end of the day. So this budget is, I would say, really helps all level, and if we look into just to touch base, 700 million allocated to enhance digital connectivity, which relates at the end of the day to digital economy. So I would say this is a good budget for everyone in Malaysia, as hashtag Keluarga Malaysia. So that's my takeaway.
Okay, Dato', thank you so much. I think I couldn't agree more with what you said. The initiative for developing infrastructure, especially us moving towards digitalization, society 5.0 and so on. So I think those are the key things that we can look into the budget and that we can look forward to. But going back to Dr. Afzal Nizam, we're still in round one, a very short and precise answer. So we've seen your general opinion, like a large overview of the budget, but maybe we want to focus more on most of our audience here, which are from youth. So youth, we have the Malaysian youth policy. We have the like recently our Prime Minister announced about Modal Baharu Pembangunan Belia 2030. So those are the initiatives that we are looking forward, that the government are initiating to improve the youth. So Doctor, with the current economic state, what do you think that us as younger generation, that we can look forward into the budget 2022 to alleviate our financial burden? Doctor.
Okay. Sure. Thank you, Ahmad. Well, I think my first reaction to your question is that please, all of you, exhaust everything that you can in terms of the budget initiative, be it from the cash transfers, grants, training funds, whatever. The problem that I'm seeing at the moment is actually there's a whole lot of assistance, but my concern is on the communication part, whether people are really in the know in terms of this available assistance given by the government. Well, again, I would like to share my own experience when I look at the agriculture sector. When I approached one of the Pertubuhan Padang Kawasan, I think it was last year, when they talked to me about young agripreneur grants totaling RM 20,000. Not many people actually know that there exists of these grants. So I believe all ministries would have this similar kind of grants, especially coming from the Ministry of Entrepreneurship, Ministry of Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives. Even banks also provide such assistance. Even for Bank Islam, we have because we have a dedicated division now. We call it a social finance division, where in this division we have ITCAD program. We have microfinance bangkit under ITCAD 1.0, which was announced last year. We have almost 100 participants, and the three parties were involved. We have Bank Islam, we have SNE Corp, which provided the training, and also we have Majlis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan, which provides the list of asnafs and B40. And now under budget 2022, the government has allocated about RM 20 million allocation for this purpose. What I heard is that the ITCAD program will be expanded to different states. Yeah. And then again, within Bank Islam, we have microfinance bangkit. It's actually a Qardul Hasan financing. We target many from the youth, from single mother, and of course, Qardul Hasan by nature, it has zero funding cost lah. And of course, the ticket size, of course, is fairly low, about 3,000 ringgit to 20,000 ringgit. So I think you need as a youth, and given that the proliferations of technology, I think what needs to be done among the youth is to search for more information and to react upon it. Because I think there's a lot of assistance actually available in the markets. It's just that maybe, that's why I think perhaps one of the key areas that the government need to improve, perhaps on the communication. Maybe they should have this one-stop center whereby everything is in there and it is easily accessible for all parties who are interested to get all those assistance lah. So I like to think there's a lot of just now I think Dr. Azman did mention about MyStep, and perhaps as a graduates you need to be cognizant of all this programs. So assistance is something that you need to be aware, and maybe you need to do a bit more of homework lah, to search for this all these resources can. And again, like I always said in the past, my advice to youth, I always have a plan B. Of course, going to universities, typically you would plan to be in the employment markets, right? But given that the challenges that you are in at the moment, I like to think that the labor markets is highly very, very challenging at the moment. You may secure a job, but perhaps it may not be commensurate with your level of qualification. That could be one of the potential outcomes there. So I think it's a smart thing to do to actually consider to venture into entrepreneurship. And again, my own experience when I look for a training on entrepreneurship, I think there's a lot of ministries that offer this. And one of them, when I went to Institute Usahawanan National in Scan, of course, with a fee lah, but it's very minimal. You can get like 50 ringgit for 1 day training, and they provide a training on how to do business on Lazada, on Shopee, and so many things lah. So again, while entrepreneurship can be an area of a potential area for youth to consider, but you need to be mindful on the gaps, the knowledge gaps, the experience. So perhaps by entering or participating, by enrolling yourself in this training program, at least it could give you a better chance to succeed. Because it's not easy to be in the business, and perhaps by going into programs like this, while it provide you knowledge, provide you with the knowledge and the expertise, but perhaps also it provides you an avenue for you to networking. It opens up that door, because doing business is also about networking. And I think when it talks about networking also, this is where I think the soft skills really come in very, very handy. So I think you need to be mindful of this multiple factors in order for you to really reap the benefits of what is available for you in terms of government assistance.
Okay, Dr. Ahsan Nizam, thank you so much. I think I would like to quote what you said just now and maybe pass this on to Dr. Azman. So Dr. Zanizam told us about young entrepreneur, like young agripreneurs and so on. So, like I think personally as youth, maybe we have that skeptical thing like, oh, people are not going into agriculture I mean like bringing this industry to another level. So, which reminds me on how important, like moving forward to Industrial Revolution 4.0, one of the main thing is TVET. So, Dr. Razman, how do you think our youth can move forward? I mean, like being more cautious about how TVET is coming in this Industrial Revolution 4.0, and also how do you think about the budget? Are we really serious in bringing TVET as the next important thing or the next core thing in our education line?
Okay, thank you, Ashraf. To be honest, when I was young, several hundred years ago, okay, I couldn't be bothered about the budget. I didn't know when the budget be presented when I was studying university. Maybe Dr. Afzal Nizam always follow the budget, but I'm more interested with sports and something else. But then we cannot be complacent at this age. When economic crisis happened due to the imposition of closing of sectors to prevent the pandemic from spreading, many people lost their job. And when we know that every year a university has been producing probably 100,000, more around 100,000 fresh new graduates, and when they are looking for a job and the job option were not really there, and when the economy is going to recover, hopefully by end of this year and beyond next year, most organization or companies, they tend to hire their workers that have been retrenched before, or those who have experience, and the fresh graduate probably will be last in the list. So now, as youth, you probably need to have plan B, like what Dr. Afzal said. It's not just straightforward like before, where you finish your study and look for a job. Okay, it might not be there. Pre-pandemic, unemployment about 500,000, now it's 730,000. So meaning it's increasing. So you are going to compete with many retrenched workers in the market. But of course, it all depends on you, meaning that on top of your qualification, if you have additional skills to complement your academic degree, then you'll be at advantage. And this kind of skills can be many things. It can be a soft skill, can be technical skills, and if you decided to become your own boss, well, there are lots of initiative training provided to become entrepreneurs. But if you are still not ready yet to enter the job market or become entrepreneurs, then going to further your studies also is as another option. I'm teaching MBA in Putra Business School, and half of my full-time students actually those people who got retrenched. Okay, so they decided to further their study to get MBA as well as professional certification that we are offering on top of our MBA program, and also some of them also fresh graduates. So they are not wasting their time. They upskill their knowledge to ensure that they have more option. And another advantage of coming to university again to further their study is the networking. We have like 100 participants here in this session, this forum, and probably a few more in the YouTube. So that's actually 100 opportunities to get to know each other and to explore all various opportunities. But back to TVET. So here we are talking about having skills or knowledge beyond the normal route that has been offered by the universities. And technical capabilities actually in demand. Someone who knows how to fix the latest model of BMW or Mercedes. And now we have Porsche to be manufactured in Kedah, if I'm not mistaken. Will earn a salary higher than those who are working in the office. And we have a but we have a local entrepreneur, Mr. Kamarul, who established Aerodyne, who now has become the largest service drone service provider in the world, based in Cyberjaya. And all in his company requires so many people who have all these technical capabilities, expertise in operating drone. So this is something that we are not normally going to learn in the universities. And we had conversation with him when he had this project in Chile, in South America. There's a 1 year project to be stationed there, and he's offering job to a local Malaysian to work there for 5-digit salary. I think probably 10,000 and plus 1 month bonus to be there for 1 year. So we asked him, why don't you hire people, the local people in Chile, to operate your drone? Probably much cheaper than bringing in local Malaysian to work there for 1 year. Well, he said, well, the work culture is different. If you're supposed to work from 9 to 5, so at 4:55 p.m. and there are like, maybe 1 acre to be covered through drone surveillance or scanning. So exactly at 5, they stop their job and they continue next day. But he said, our people, our workers, willing to go beyond that, to work extra time to finish the job. So we are not that calculative lah. We are okay with that. So the attitude also very important. So he's willing to hire, and he hired a local Malaysian to work in Chile for 1 year with a salary of more than 10,000. That is the job of operating remote. I call it operating remote control flying machine. So actually, when we look into that, KVET do promise higher paying salary. And when we talk about the industry that deal with, well, we know people always say that we do not like to work in the environment that is dirty, dangerous. The 3D, I can't remember the third D, dirty, dangerous. But when we say dirty, dangerous, it's not necessarily clearing the road. It could be underwater, deep diving, fixing the machinery equipment that also give a very lucrative income. So in the end, it depends on the youth itself, meaning that if they have this great determination, willing to try new things, nothing to lose, nothing to fear, this kind of spirit will bring you further. Okay, I wish probably some of us probably will be young again and try certain things that we neglected to try. But this is the opportunity. When the economy is opening up, when the government is spending lots in the budget to provide all kind of initiative, I hope your lecturer will give you additional assignment to go through one by one all the initiatives mentioned by the government for next year, and try to explore all these opportunities. Give it a try. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Razban. Yes, I think I do agree with how our youth are still like, what can I say? Maybe we're playing safe. We're still not that adventurous to take the risk, especially going into the 3D industry, the difficult and dangerous. So, so currently we are in the second round. So I think we've talked about entrepreneurship. We've talked about TVET, and I'm going to ask Dato' Zuraida. So Dato' Zuraida, on the recent budget, 600,000 of tablets will be given to undergraduates, which is B40 undergraduates, under the program Peranti Siswa Keluarga Malaysia program. But however, it was not spelled out about the internet costing that is included in the package. And according to the World Bank, Malaysia's internet package is considerably more expensive compared to other countries. So Dato', from your point of view, what are the challenges faced by Telecom Malaysia in order to lower the price and to improve the internet coverage when we are moving towards the digitalization era. Datuk Zuraida, can you hear me? Okay.
Ashraf, can you hear me?
Yes, Dato', I can hear you clearly.
Okay, all right. Okay. You can't see my video, but at least you can hear my voice. All right. Okay, to answer your questions, 600,000 B40 undergraduate, receiving tablets through a program, as part and parcel of the budget 2022, Peranti Siswa Keluarga Malaysia. Okay, I would say that this is a very good initiative. However, you could not see where is the internet subsidy or fund, that is to be given to all the students who receive these tablets. Okay, firstly, I would like to inform everyone that Telekom Malaysia with all the other telco, all with this initiative under Kementerian Multimedia, MCMC, we are, in terms of infrastructure, we're doing all out, as I've mentioned just now about Jendela, which is the National Digital Initiative. Okay, coming back to the access, I would say it should not be a problem. It can be accessed. This tablet can be accessed through fixed broadband, like I'm sure all of you know Unify, or it can also be accessed through mobile, mobile where I'm sure every one of us in Malaysia would have mobile device, the SIM cards and all. Okay, so accessibility, I would say that's not a problem. But now, how is the fund, of this internet access should come from? Okay, just to share with everyone, in Selangor itself, contoh, it has to be initiative from the states also, state government. Like Selangor, for instance, collaboration with Telekom Malaysia, with other telco, okay, there is a special fund given, for 1 year, free, okay, in terms of internet access. Okay, that is Selangor, and I'm pretty sure that other states have this program as well. So it's not relying so much of the budget that has been said. Okay, it is an also initiative that must come from the state government, from the GLC, from GOC, and also from private sector. How to help all this B40, not relying, 100% directly on the government, as we could not see anything from the budget 2022. So because there's a lot of other initiative that has been given, like tax rebates and this and that whatsoever. So indirectly, the other way of giving away is, as I've said, through the state governments, through the GLC, GOC, and even from the banks, okay, that can assist in terms of giving the fund for the students in terms of the access at the end of the day. So the main thing is that the infrastructure is ready. The only thing is that the access to pay for the internet, that is the question here. So I will not see there's a problem. Okay, there's always ways and means to help the students in terms of this internet, pay for the internet at the end of the day. Okay, touching back on the World Bank that's saying Malaysia internet is considerably expensive, I would say it's not. Okay, it is, I would say, is competitive and it is affordable. as compared to earlier. Yeah, earlier if you look, I'm sure all of you have heard about Streamix. So streaming only about, I would say, 4 meg, and you have to pay about 150 ringgit. But now you pay 100 meg, okay, for only 129 ringgit, okay, and you get the voice, and you also get the TV cable facilities at the end of the day. Yeah, so I would see that what the informations that has been given here about internet package expensive, I would not say it is. And of course, we are looking in many areas how to make it more competitive in the coming future, that's for sure. With a higher bandwidth, okay, for now we can have about 800 meg, yeah, at home, okay, which is near 1 gig, yeah, for the internet access. So as time goes by, of course, the price will be cheaper. And as we know, everyone needs internet access every time, anywhere, and this is something that is crucial at the end of the day. Yeah. So I would say that in terms of coverage in this digital era should not be a problem. Only that I'm pretty sure in the rural area, okay, there's concern. If we talk about our exchanges, all digitalized, fiberized, and the only thing is that we have to pull to the last mile. Yeah. If we look into the urban area, not a problem. Suburban is okay, but the rural area is where fixed line could be a problem, but mobile, I would say, should be okay in terms of the access. So with this digital economy and with the access of student study from home, yeah, work from home, yeah, all this internet access is crucial and very important. And we from the telco, we're looking this, I mean, end to end. And if you could see in the budget 2022, these are all factored in to ensure that all the rakyat is having a good access at the end of the day. Yes. So Ashraf.
Okay, Dato', thank you so much. Okay, I just wonder, maybe you can enlighten us with like you mentioned just now about how challenges, especially in increasing the coverage, or I mean like the infrastructure in the rural areas, because I think when we move towards digitalization, like 5Gs and so on, we can't leave the rural areas behind. Like us, we living in urban, we are like moving very fast, but especially when students are doing online learning and working from home, so the concerns about the internet coverage in rural areas arise. So I mean, like maybe Dato', you can enlighten us about the challenges that that maybe Telecom Malaysia face in increasing the infrastructure of internet, especially rural areas like Sabah Sarawak.
Okay. Thank you, Ashraf. If we look into urban, not a problem. Suburban, okay. Okay, rural area, the challenges is that if you can see the houses are all scattered around. Yeah, it is not focused in one area. So this is where the technology is. There's many technology, okay, that we can give internet access. It's not just fixed broadband, but it is through wireless. Okay, so I would say that in 2022, okay, the coverage for rural area would be much better. Yeah, and I would say most of the rural area coverage will be there by end of 2022, because even the government is giving fund, okay, for the telco, okay, to pull the access to all this rural area for your information. So the government is also assisting all the provider to ensure that the coverage in the rural area is sound at the end of the day. So I would say it should not be a problem as it comes in stages, all right? So by end of the day, there'll be a full coverage of internet access in Malaysia, inshallah.
Inshallah, Dato', thank you so much. I think that is what we youth are hoping for. So
Yeah.
no matter where we are, we need to move forward and we need to be positive that inshallah, urban areas and rural areas, we can move forward together.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Dato'. Okay, so for the next question, maybe I'll move back to Dr. Afzan Nizam. So we've talked about digitalization and infrastructure, Doctor. And I think one of the obvious things that happened during the pandemic especially is how business transit from, like, they change the nature of their business from physical to online. And gig economy is rising right now. Like, I think most of us youth, many of us are being food panda riders and doing grab food and so on. So how do you think that this transition can give a big impact on the economic growth and resilience? And maybe at the same time, how does it serve the benefits to our people in terms of profit gaining, Doctor?
Sure. I think when the pandemic hits, it really forces us to be creative and to choose a very viable options in terms of how we do business. And I like to associate that experience with mine, especially on, I think Datuk Zuraida did mention about work from home. Yeah, I think for banks, not all, for some functions like compliance, risk management, even for me, economic research, finance, we are all almost 100% working from home until today. And for our latest business plan for Bank Islam, we are already planning that we will want to optimize our floor space lah. Meaning to say that we will adopt this work from home fully for those functions who can actually work from home lah. So what I'm trying to say is that this digitalization and the pandemic, it actually accelerated, or rather it forces us to think what is more practical. So meaning to say that physical locations are no longer the main considerations, especially in terms of doing our work. What matters is our productivity, the results, and the outcome. And I'm really amazed, seriously, because for Bank Islam now, when we do, even for board meeting, you know lah, board members kan, they are all quite senior people. Yeah, the level of adoptions is amazing, you know. Now we have our board meeting throughout the year from last till now using online, and they are getting used to it. So just imagine how much savings they have been saved in terms of the logistic, utilities. But this comes with an impact, obviously. For one, I think, okay, the positive side, I can only think about some, of course, a lot. I think productivity is number one, and perhaps carbon emission, because we come. I mean, in terms of traveling, we might use less our transport, and more importantly, I think the impact on the office space market. You know, and to be honest, I'm quite worried. You know, especially on the office space, especially on the skyscrapers, and I'm not sure how this available floor, office space floor, will be absorbed. While we are talking about recovery, while we are talking about faster GDP growth, but I don't think that it will be similar to the pre-pandemic. You know, because businesses are by nature are very, very competitive, and we were forced to choose an options that will give us value for money, so to speak. If work from home can give us more returns, more profit, then so be it. Then what will happen to this available office space? So that is something that we need to look at. That's the impact, number one. And then in terms of development expenditure by the government, this is where I think is also quite pertinent factor to consider. I mean, pre-pandemic, when we talk about development expenditure, it's always about the brick and mortar. You know, we talk about public transport more often than not. So now I think with this digitalization, I think it could create some sense of, you know, we need to be practical. does the country really needs a huge mega projects like, MRT3, since maybe not all, perhaps 1/3 of our workforce will be able to work from home. So just imagine in terms of how the government need to really, really think and optimize their resources. So I think my sense is that the development expenditure will be geared towards more ICT related infrastructure, like what Dr. Zuhaida did mention about the connectivity, wireless versus fixed line. So I think going forward, that could be the trend in terms of how the government actually plan their development agenda. No longer brick and mortar. I mean, I'm not saying that there's no buildings. There will be buildings, but I think it may not be as much as what we used to experience pre-pandemic level. So this is something. This is a good trend. It's something that we need to embrace and it rhymes quite well with our mantra towards a net zero carbon by 2050 and now we talk about ESG, environmental, social, and governance as a means to attract our investors. So I think digitalization can actually provide that platform. So I think the impact is very, very wide-ranging the way I see it. That's my take, Ahmad.
Yes, I agree with you, Doctor. For us as youth, we have seen digitalpreneurs gaining profit. Gaining income from doing TikTok, YouTube channel, and so on. But I think one of the most affected people due to this pandemic are those in the MSME category. So I want to touch specifically on the MSME funds, which was announced by the government, which is a total of 46 billion worth of guarantees by Syarikat Jaminan Pembiayaan Perniagaan or Credit Government Guarantee Scheme as incentive to the micro, small, medium enterprise. So this is a huge money being allocated, especially for MSME. So, Doctor, do you think that in the condition where these people, these MSME business have failed, and they are very much affected, especially post-pandemic, and these guarantee incentives need to be applied through banks. So how do you see these entrepreneurs can regain their confidence in running the business again?
Well, I think if you look at the recent announcement by Bank Negara, I think they have announced this program called Program Pengurusan dan Ketahanan Keuangan URUS, which also involves SMEs. So in there's always moratoriums, there's always a restructuring and rescheduling R&R. So while this microfinance or these soft loans really helps, but the level of engagement, I think that's what really matters. I mean, when I say engagement, the engagement between the financial institutions and also the borrowers. When the pandemic hits, of course, one of the things that the government has actually announced the loan moratoriums. Even then, with loan moratoriums, it actually forces the borrowers to be closer to their bankers. Meaning to say they need to be open, they need to be forthcoming in furnishing all these relevant documents. So in that sense, I think going forward for MSME to better themselves is actually to be on the radar. When I say on the radar, it's actually get themselves registered, under SSM, and I think the government also has announced the tax identification number, so TIN. So they need to make themselves official, moving away from this informal sector. So when you become formal, then they become more highly accessible to all these assistance. Meaning they are on the radar. So in that way, I think they are in a much better position, especially to enroll in any government initiatives, especially those who are would like to venture into the export markets. So they can always approach MITI, MIDA, so they get themselves be closer and integrated to the global supply chains. Of course, this will require times. It won't happen overnight. So I think, but the right thinking is actually to get themselves registered so that they are able to receive all these initiatives. And in a way, it also encourage them to think that they need to be responsible. When I say responsible, meaning, well, obviously they need to pay taxes lah, kan? Because in order for you to get out from this informal sector, obviously there will be costs associated to this, and obviously one of them is taxation lah. Well, I know it can be taboo, but I think the benefits of become in the formal sector, I think is much higher than the cost lah. You know, there will be costs obviously. So I think that's how the MSME should progress. And I think because of the pandemic, I think they should have learned their lesson really well during this pandemic, whereby it's very important that they are on the radar so that they can be able to access all this assistance.
Yes, yeah, indeed. I mean, how they should adapt fast to these changes. I mean, like we all use Shopee, and I think MSME, these are the platforms that they should move forward to and use this platform to enhance their business, like moving forward the transition between maybe from physical business to online business. So, but that's about entrepreneurs. So I'm gonna go to Dr. Azman. Maybe we need to touch a little bit about jobless issues, especially among youth. So, according to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, Doctor, the percentage of unemployed people as at September is about 4.5%, of which consists of 729.6 thousand persons. And of course, from the budget, the government announced how this budget will open about 600,000 job opportunities. So, how do you think this initiative, I mean, like, could cover the jobless issues that's been playing around all along?
Okay, thank you, Ashraf, and it's good that you are referring to the DOSM, Department of Statistics Malaysia, on the latest status of unemployment. Yes, it does shows a slight decrease from 4.6% to 4.5%, from 748,000 to 729. But when we look into the number of jobs currently that being offered in Malaysia, when we look in Q4 2019, this is before the pandemic, that was the highest we have experienced, where we have 6.61 million jobs. And at that time, since then, we have been experiencing a decline, slight increase in the Q3 2021, but we have yet to reach the level before 2019. So the number of jobs being offered are not as before. The total number of jobs being offered are not as before, and the number of employment has still in a high number. So when we look into the question whether the budget 2022 will be able to address this unemployment with 600,000 job opportunities under Jamin Kerjaya, well, you have to look into the previous budget 2021, okay, where we also have a similar scheme. It's called Jana Kerjaya. So Jana Kerjaya offer 500,000 and Jamin Kerjaya offer 600,000. MyStep in budget 2021 offer 50,000 and MyStep in 2022 offer 80,000. So what happened to Jana Kerjaya this year? Have we been able to fulfill or to create this 500,000? If we are able to fulfill the 500,000 job under Jana Kerjaya and 50,000 under MyStep, so budget 2022 will not have this high number, probably just 200, 300,000 to cover, because we already fulfilled that. So that means in 2021, even though that's the intention of the government to provide new job opportunities, but it is still an ongoing effort. It cannot be done in a year, like what we have seen. The number of unemployment is still high. So this is a continuing process, meaning that even though it is a promise it's a plan to provide 600,000, but we have to be a little bit not to put everything in one basket, not to depend on everything and don't just fund this program. So we need to, like I said before, that the opportunities are various. It's not necessarily have to go through this kind of initiative. It's good, you try, okay? But here we also talking about the mismatching of the job. I think Dr. Afzal Nizam did mention in the DOSM statistic also mentioned there are 174,000 vacancies. But how come the 730,000 unemployed cannot fill into these vacancies? Because there's a mismatch. Okay, so what the industry want is not what the unemployed currently can offer. So that's why there are lots of emphasis being put in the budget 2022 for upskilling and reskilling. So we need to know what kind of job that in demand. I think that Zuraida did mention that now digitalization, IR 4.0 is very important. So many companies are moving towards digitalization, automation, and they are looking for designers, programmers, app developer to help them move towards this digitalization effort. And we noticed that when this pandemic happened, when the government stopped the permit for the foreign workers to coming into the industries, I think they now just open a little bit to certain sector. So the local industries now face this situation. What if the foreign workers are not coming? Can we depend on the local workers who can operate and manage system or a machine that can give them a higher salary, but as well as a better income? So this is something that also need to be addressed as well. It's not just simply providing job, but we also addressing providing a high paying job. In 2019, the average salary has decreased by 9%. But if you look into median, it's even worse, negative 15.6%. So I'm sure in 2020, 2021 also, we expect the same thing, the decrease in salary. And this has increased the inequality. The Forbes magazine, I think, published a report that the top 50 richest people in Malaysia experience an increase of wealth by 14%. But the majority of population actually experience a decrease in salary. So this is something that we need to know, to be aware of, that the effort by the government to provide 600,000 new jobs is commendable, but we cannot just rely on that. We need to also explore new opportunities that can give us a higher income, and this can be through various means, not necessarily through public sector or private sector. You can even become boss of your own company. Identifying the need during this time is very important. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Razman, maybe before we move on to Datuk Zuraida after this, I mean, maybe you could extend, like, I think personally, as much jobs that we can create, it still doesn't solve the issue when the employers, like, they would say that, oh, these graduates are some lack of skills and so on. And on the employee side, like for these graduates, like they want a good minimum wage for their first job and so on. So these kind of issues are being talked about, and has been going around all this long. So doctor, what do you think is, where can we find a middle point where these employers and their graduate can meet so that we can try and solve this job issue, Doctor?
Well, if I have the easy answer for this, the problem will already solve by now. so it's not really a straightforward or there's no immediate solution for this. Both parties have point, meaning that the employers, they cannot afford to give a higher salary to the fresh graduate due to several reasons, and the young, those looking for employment, also have a valid point. The cost of living, especially in the Klang Valley, in the urban cities, very high, and the minimum wage of 1,200 is simply difficult for those who to want to survive, especially those that already have a family of their own. So, but then when I look into this issue, okay, some things need to be done, and budget 2022 will not be able to address this immediately. That's why we have a longer plan like RMK 12 and also Wawasan Kemakmuran Bersama 2030. Certain things need gradual improvement, gradual effort to ensure that the future generation will not be trapped into. We already have this middle income trap. Okay, the M40 have experienced a stagnation in their salary. So we don't want this new generation, millennial, to remain like that, remain indebted, because household debt to GDP in our country is the highest in Southeast Asia and the second highest in Asia, just beneath South Korea. That's why South Korea has Squid Game. So maybe we are going to have another Netflix drama, Permainan Sotong. Okay, so to highlight the indebtedness among our population. So the solution that I actually would like to see is actually to address the fact why the employers cannot afford to give higher salary to the workers. And the reason because of their higher operating expense and higher financing costs. So that's why in budget 2022, I really applaud the decision by the government to provide this kind of Kadru Hassan financing, because when they can borrow and pay the exact amount, so they do not have to bear the additional cost, the interest charges to the financing institution. So this extra surplus that they have can be channeled towards hiring or giving a higher pay. In fact, some businesses already tried it, experimented this. By paying a higher salary, they will get higher productivity. It's just that you must be brave to try this. But then when we have this option where you are not being burdened by the additional interest charge, then this open opportunity for the businesses to give higher paying salary. We notice during this pandemic, so many businesses struggle, especially those who have a high leverage, because they have to fulfill the debt obligation even though their revenue been affected, and this resulted in laying off the workers. So my wish actually to see this concept to be expanded, but of course people like Dr. Azizah will not make money from this. Will lend 10,000, only get 10,000, but I do have a solution for that as well, meaning that we should also introduce a concept of hibah. Hibah means even though you receive 10,000, but it doesn't stop you for paying back exactly at 10,000. If you are greatly benefited from this, so you should pay more, so that as a hibah, as a gift, so that more people will be benefited from this scheme. So this has been tested in Pakistan, where the Kadru Hassan program has been given to more than 100,000 communities. They lend, let's say 10,000, but they didn't put the cap, meaning that you can pay 10,000, you can put more. And this make the program become sustainable. Grateful people, normally they will be paying more because they appreciate the assistance given to them. So if you set cap at, let's say 1%, like PTPTN, so people will just pay 1%. So Ashraf, when you get your job, you're not going to say, oh, I have so much money, I'm not going to pay 1%, I'm going to pay 10%, so that my friend also will benefit. You're not going to do that because you'll be asked to only pay 1%. So when we have this concept hibah, so then this kind of financing can be sustainable, as well as in the budget 2022, lots of option are given to the equity financing through the equity crowdfunding, through the government assistance to boost up the equity. So when many businesses moving towards equity financing, so they will be able to reduce their debt obligation. Hopefully, we hope this will allow them to hire and give a higher salary to the existing workers, especially the new graduates. But of course, it must be matched with higher productivity by the work itself. So this is long term. For the budget 2022, we have seen some of the seeds of the effort, the initiative. We hope that eventually they will make the salary issues be better addressed in the next few years. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Maybe we can do a Squid Game Malaysia version. Maybe we can play Congkak and so on. Maybe that's one of the way for us to really address this issue. So I do agree with your point of view, Doctor. So last one, before we move to the Q&A session, Dato' Zuraida. So post-pandemic, like we have B40. Maybe right now it's going up to B50, I guess. More people from M40 going down to B50, maybe B40 maybe. So at a time where we are moving forward to digitalization, but the cost to have a laptop, like minimum to get a good laptop is around 1,500 and so on. So at a point where the household income is decreasing, but the need for us to move forward towards digitalization to adapt to this new norm. So how do you think that we Malaysians are ready to face this, and how do you think we should do to make sure that we are always up to the needs of the current situation?
Okay, thank you, Ashraf. As said by our two experienced panelists, the exposure and the mindsets are different now. Okay, after the pandemic, okay, and now close to endemic, yeah. So our mindset must be always different. Okay, we are no longer like conventional before. So everything is going towards digitalization. Agree, Ashraf? Yeah.
Yes, Dato', I do agree with you.
Betul. So now, kalau kita tengok budget 2022 ni, it is more talking about digital economy. Okay, alright. So we talk about digital economy ni incorporates, okay, all economic activity, right? Which is to enhance digital input, okay, digital technology, infrastructure services. Okay, we talk about data and data, you know. Okay, it's also referred to industry, consumers, yeah, of course also including the government, yeah, utilizing digital inputs in their economy activities, yeah. So by answering your questions, whether we are ready or not ready, we must be ready. Okay, meaning to say, with digital economy, okay, we have a lot of exposure, yeah, like e-wallet, yeah, kita ada e-commerce, kita ada a lot of digital payments, yeah, which has helped a lot of this digital economy at the end of the day. If we look into our end-to-end daily life, yeah, nowadays, hari-hari kita tengok lah, ya, tak kira lah. I mean, now kalau kita we look into we look into our everyday lives, we depend so much, okay. We depend so much on we must have handphone. Of course, the laptop is needed as now belajar, yeah, we have to learn through online. We have to now, as I've said, we work from home, yeah. So we need all this equipment to be at home, to be connected. All right. So I would say that this exposure is crucial. Okay, so that is the reason why the infrastructure, of course, the price of the internet as it goes on moving forward. Okay, it will be definitely more competitive. All right, so that it will be affordable to all. All right. And I would say exposure ni is all, be it in the urban, suburban, or even rural area. Yeah. So your question just now, enhancing digitalization and online channel ni is very important, and we have seen a lot of apps. If you look into all the utilities, semua ada apps. Okay, tak payah pergi kedai dah sekarang. Everything is so easy. Okay, ordering. You want anything, you just order things online. Be it you are in the town or in the rural area, semua sama je. Okay, so I would say ready. I mean, everyone is ready. Everyone is ready, especially dengan blessing COVID-19 ni. I would say the exposure, every one of us have that mindset, okay, to be digitalized at the end of the day. Okay, tak ada orang yang ketinggalan. So I would say that exposure and benefits ni is there already, and tak ada orang yang ketinggalan. Even if kita tengok as Dr. Asfar was saying just now, board member yang kira dah senior pun dah kira okay. Yeah, instead of physical meeting, okay, they go online. Okay, kita cakap pasal rural. Mak bapak kita yang di kampung pun dah pandai dah guna internet access. Tak ada internet access, dia akan minta anak-anak pasang kat rumah. You know, so I would say exposure ni is not a problem, and the only thing is that we have to enhance further. And as we said, communication is very important. Okay, we have to inform everyone what are the facilities, okay, that we have in Malaysia for everyone, yeah, to enjoy the benefits. Okay, if we talk about tadi macam SME fund, for instance, there's a lot of fun out there, yeah. But how do we communicate? Okay, we don't rely so much. We should not rely everything on the government. Okay, it has to be on all channel. Okay, from the private, from the government sector. Okay, to inform, especially the fresh graduate, ya, student kita yang ada hari ni, ya, yang akan keluar untuk orang kata expose themselves in the real world. Okay, so if they are not, if they don't want to kata makan gaji, okay, they can always open up business. Business now are so easy. You can just with the digital economy, yeah, okay, you can create your business so easily, and there's many platform, yeah, that can assist. Lazada, Shopee, and so on and so forth. You know, okay. I mean, the platform is a platform to start business, okay? And then when the business is running, okay, then they can get the fund from the banks, from a lot of institutions to run and to become successful at the end of the day. So I could see that makan gaji ni dah kira not the moving forward orang kata norm. So it's more towards kira business sendiri. Okay, which you can be better and you can earn better, you know, especially now in this digital transactions, digital economy, yeah, with the government is helping a lot of GOC, GLC, yeah, all the institutionals are helping the SME and the small business to grow further, okay, and to be in the industry with also, I would like to touch base a little bit. We know that the economy is being impacted. I can see there are also investors still coming in Malaysia. Yeah, I just spoke to few investors that came to Banting. Yeah, they wanted to do this paper hub in Banting. It is the biggest paper manufacturer in the world. So if you go to Banting Industrial City, wow, I'm amazed, to tell you frankly. So it is picking up, and inshallah, I will say that exposure ada and not a problem. Yeah. The only thing is that the the infra ready, and the competitiveness of the prices, and also how every the ecosystem, yeah, to assist everyone, to ensure that everyone is successful at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dato'. Yes, digital literacy is something that has been concerned to us on how we want to move forward, especially to the elders. Like personally, like on the beginning of the pandemic, I used to teach how my grandma to use the MySejahtera app. And now, in front of my house, every day, the Shopee parcel are coming every day from her.
Yeah.
She knows how to use Shopee, even she's 70 years old. So that's how the pandemic has changed us.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So thank you so much, Dato'. And to make our session more fruitful, and like we want to be more, we will go on to the Q&A session. So these are the questions from our audience, which is part of them from Microsoft Teams and part of them from the YouTube. So I think there's one interesting question. Maybe this question can be answered by Dr. Afzal Nizam, and maybe Dr. Hazman can add on. Okay, it's about, so the question is, the budget of 11.4 billion for Memperkasa Bumiputra, how do you think this will help the Bumiputra, and why does Bumiputra still under poverty even with the help by the government? Maybe Dr. Afzal Nizam can start first.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Well, I think this is very structural issues. Since the onset of the new economic policies in 1970, those policies are very much alive. Of course, we have been seeing a varying degree of results. And along the way, there's also a changing in terms of political dynamics. So it's very, if you ask me, why is it our Bumiputra policy is still does not yield the desirable outcome? I think the outcome is there, but it's rather mixed. I mean, just look at UITM. Yeah, I'm a product of UITM. I can vouch that there is a social upward mobility because of this institution. So we can see a lot of Malays executives. So I like to think our policies in this respect has been successful. But beyond that, there's a lot of issues going on. And I must say it has some connection to political dynamics. When I say political dynamics, it's also in relation to, well, say corrupt practices. Yeah, I'm not sure how to share the stats, but you can look at the Corruption Perception Index (CPI) by Transparency International. You can see the score, or rather the ranking, deteriorated. Yeah, in the early parts of 2010s. 2015, 2018, then it gets better, but it gets worse back, So Bumiputra, and then there's corrupt practices. I think there's some link there. And if you look at the literature on corruptions and how it can impact, it can also impact inflation. Yeah. When there is corruption, there's inflation, it affects your purchasing power. Yeah. So there's a multiple angle that you need to look at actually. So I'm not saying that the policies are not working. I think the policies are great. It's just a matter of execution. Um, like I said earlier on, not many people are in the know about the young entrepreneur, for instance. Yeah, so there's a communication gap. But in general, I think the problem is it cut across various multiple disciplines. There's also a social angle to it. Attitude is also a matter to be considered. So it's just not purely from economic standpoint, not purely from economic policies, but there are other factors that we need to be mindful of. But generally, we can see the results. But I think my quick response to that, we can do better. We can do better actually. So yeah, perhaps Dr. Azman may have a additional points on that.
Go ahead, Dr. Rahman. You have.
Well, maybe we can ask the question slightly different. What happen if we don't have that 11, or is it 11.4 billion and allocated to Bhiputra? When we dig deeper into the amount, more than half of it, the 6.6 billion actually for the educational purpose. MARA, UITM, Yayasan Peneraju. And we know without education, any community, individual, household will not be able to escape from poverty. And when we look into the average salary, Malay Bhiputra is still the lowest. When we look into those who do not have enough savings and home ownership, Malay Bhiputra is still the lowest. When we look even now, the savings in KWFSP, EPF, so still we are among the lowest. So the way to improve on the lifestyle, the livelihood of Malay Bhiputra is through some affirmative policies, especially on the education. So that's why majority of the amount allocated is actually on the education itself, but not to the detrimental effect on other ethnicities. So this is just part of the allocation meant for Bumis. And we're talking about how to measure success. Yeah, I do agree with Dr. Afzal Nizam. Economic indicators alone is not enough. If you want to referring to the equity ownership, we are way behind in terms of stock ownership, because we include the PNB, the ASB, all those as part of the Bhiputra. When talking about as an individual, how many of us actually own shares, I don't think we are not there yet. So because of that, we also need to look into how far we have improved from the income that we receive in the household until now. But some things that is unwritten and not quite obvious, but those in the industry will know, is that we do not have this what we call the umbrella system that affect the whole supply chain in the business. For example, if we are selling shirt in UITM or in university, when I was student, this is my main business, selling t-shirt to fellow students. And so that simple business, we say, okay, we just simply purchase a plain t-shirt and then send it to a t-shirt printer and choose the colors, and that's it, we can set the price. But who supply the ink? Who supply the material? So sometimes there will be a monopoly position in a part of the supply chain, and this will make our business at disadvantage because of the special treatment or preference to other type of or other kind of business community. So we do not control the whole supply chain, and this is something that we have to accept, that there are always loopholes, there are always room for for us, the Bumiputra at disadvantage at certain sector in industry, and because of that we need to level the playing field. But of course, this is not a permanent walking stick, if you want to call it. Okay, some people would prefer this as a stick, but this is going not to be permanent. But this is necessary to achieve not just fairness but equality among the ethnicity. But of course, like Dr. Abdul said, if left it to the wrong people to manage it, it will make the objective harder to achieve. Corruption does have a negative impact on the country. Transparency International said about 4% of country GDP loss due to corruption. That's probably translate around 60 billion loss due to corruption. And we're talking about this corruption, it is something that somehow become the new norm among the industry, which we don't want to become. We don't want it to remain like that. So addressing the corruption, increasing the transparency, the accountability will make any Bumiputra affirmative policies initiative to really fulfill its main agenda, and hopefully we will achieve what we want to achieve within our generation. If the past generation unable to do this, and if we keep blaming the past and present generation, so can our generation now start to remedy this and make changes that what we sorely needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah, I do agree that at times, like right now, we have the NACP, which is the National Anti-Corruption Plan. And I think this is a way forward for us to move towards maybe zero corruption. So because it's so worrying when, according to the statistics, 42.8% of corruption is happening in the public sector. So I think that's a worrying figure that we should advocate so that the young or the youth will be a more community with high integrity. So now I think we would like to hear questions from our audience from Microsoft Teams. So I would like to ask if there's any of our audience who would like to ask questions to any of our panels. So maybe you can turn on your camera and your mic and introduce yourself, where you're from, and you can go ahead and ask your question. Do we have any questions from our audience here in Microsoft Teams? Okay, I guess we don't have any. Okay, so I think maybe we can go one last question, which is about I have a question here about tax. So the question is, according to budget 2022, we can see the increasing of excise duty, like stamp duty, and new tax are introduced. But the timing when it's introduced at this endemic where people are hard in getting money. So maybe we can get comments from our panel about the issue. Maybe we can start with Dr. Azan Nizam, or maybe Dr. Zuraida. Do you have any comment on the issue?
I think give to the business Dr. Asfar first.
Okay, Doctor, go ahead, Dr. Azan Nizam.
Yeah.
Okay, like I said in my earlier remarks, the government is trying to is walking on a tightrope. Yes, I think you did mention in your earlier statement that this budget has a total allocation of 332 billion, highest ever in history. Obviously, this money has to be funded by somewhere. Typically, there are two sources. One from the revenue, which will be used to finance the operating expenditure. in operating expenditure, obviously there will be emoluments, basically the salaries and wages among the government civil servants, the pensions and gratuities, debt service charges. So this revenue will be used to finance all these things, and the balance will be funded through debt, government debts. So the question is, how is it the government continue to introduce these measures at a time things are really struggling lah, so to speak, kan? But I think obviously the tax division have done their own calculation lah. I think for instance, the increase in stamp duty, especially on contract notes, they are able to collect probably around 400 million. For Cukai Makmur, it's about 3.9 billion ringgit. And then tax on foreign source income is expected to garner around 1.2 billion. So these are all measures that would help to improve their tax collection. Yes, as the economy tend to recover next year, automatically the tax collection will also be higher. But with this additional taxation, it could actually help to improve their revenue streams lah. And furthermore, we are seeing that oil price is hovering more than $80 per barrel. So that really helps to contribute the government's revenue. So what the government is trying to do is actually to solidify themselves so that they are able to introduce all these measures. Otherwise, they are not able to do that, and they are not be able to achieve the fiscal deficit target of 6%. And and chances are, if let's say there is no taxes that have been announced, I think that the deficit will be much higher, probably more than 7% of GDP. And if that happens, we can expect the government debt is also likely to rise. When that happens, then you can start seeing some negative reactions from the CRAs, credit rating agencies like Fitch, Moody's, and S&P. If they do that, then you can imagine how it can impact the ringgit, how it can impact the equities market, how it can impact our financial institution liquidity. So, like I said, if the government doesn't do that, all of us will be worse off. You know. Yes, I think it's not popular lah. Tax is always not popular measures lah. But it's something that the government has to do. Yeah. And my recent engagement with the tax division from MOF, they are very adamant on GST. Yeah. So I think all of us need to brace for impact lah. Yeah, that's my take lah.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah, I think before the GST was like previously when it was introduced, it was a huge issue in the country. Like it was played along until now we're using SST and so on. So, but yeah, if it's for the improvement of our economy, then maybe that's the right way to move forward post-pandemic, I guess. So, I think we're at the end of our session. So before we end our forum today, I would like to pass the stage to Datuk Zuraidah. Maybe Datuk, you can give a very a conclusion from this session, a very short and simple conclusion. Onto you, Datuk.
Okay, thank you, Ashraf. Okay, I would say that with all the discussion that we have made, I would say in conclusion, COVID-19 is a pandemic which has a silver lining, is that forces the country to accelerate, the transformation towards becoming more digital, and also applications to digital technologies such as e-commerce, online learning, remote working, has created new opportunities, for businesses to prosper and for people to increase their well-being. And also with these digitalizations accelerate challenges such as digital preparedness, and also we must not forgetting about cyber security. That threat remains and need to be effectively addressed. Also continue cross collaboration between RMK 12 ya, 12 Malaysian Plan, My Digital, National 4IR Plan ya, and other government initiative ya that can drive the adoptions of digitalization technologies and efficient cybersecurity practices ya. So moving forward, it is pivotal for Malaysia to accelerate digitalization, economy-wide towards enhancing its resilience and inclusivity for a new norm, inshallah. Yeah.
Inshallah, Dato'. Like this very famous saying, like unprecedented situation will force us to do unprecedented measures. So it is something like a catalyst for us to like get out of our comfort zone and to adapt with the new norm. So thank you so much, Dato' Zuraida. Now to Dr. Razman. So Dr. Razman, maybe a short and simple conclusion from you.
Yes, I do agree. Everything happened. Must be some wisdom hikmah from it. That what Dr. Zuraida said. I think it accelerated our digital adoption by few years, and this is a good thing. And we also realize that some of the shortcoming with our some of the things that happen in our country, like food security. Turn out we are depending too much on the import of our food. Chili pun kena import, and also our dependency on foreign workers, and also how fragile our economic sectors, SMEs, and turn out that many businesses, even individuals or household, only have a few months of savings when if they started to lose their main income or revenue. And because of that, there's a need to reform uncertain system, especially I'm in one of this NGO, Movement for Monetary Justice. Easy to remember, MMJ.my, Malaysia Michael Jackson, MMJ.my, Movement for Monetary Justice. And we advocate reform of monetary system, where we see that this so-called cycle of financial crisis every 10 to 12 years is not a new norm that we need to accept. We never experienced such crisis from 1947 until 1971. That's when our currency, or actually US dollar currency, is being pegged to commodity gold. But nowadays it's all fiat money. With the introduction of CBDC, central bank digital currency, by many nations like China, Barbados, I think already implemented this. Malaysia now in discussion with Australia, Singapore, and South Africa, Durban Project, what they call it, to look into how instead of printing paper money, we have a digital currency, probably based on the blockchain technology, to facilitate transfers of products and services between the countries. Imagine we receive our salary electronically. The government also tax us electronically. Suddenly we realize our money no longer in the bank, goes to the government. So that will be 100% tax compliance and 100% tax efficiency, and no more black or shadow economy. Everything is fully counted. So are we prepared for that? So that's a certain things that we probably want to look at, how we can look into creating a sovereign money handled by a sovereign entity to ensure that our currency will have some resiliency and not be affected by hyperinflation or this crisis. Imagine, Ashraf, you are earning so much after your graduation, having 100,000 in your bank account. You are thinking of marry 4 in one go. But after one day hyperinflation, more than 50% increase of the inflation rate, your 100,000 can only afford to buy teh tarik. So we don't want this to happen to anybody. We want to have a very strong ringgit currency. We want to have a strong economy. So this is the task of the future generation, student of UiTM, all those participating here. Can we come up with a new monetary system that will make sure all our hard work and effort that we have done by our forefathers until now will not go to waste. Are we going to be still subjected to dollar dominance, even subjected to SWIFT code? Dr. Hafnizam probably realized this. If the US decided to block the SWIFT code, no money can be transferred. So can we overcome this and become our own master, not a slave to other nation? So thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Yes, I think even though if I have 100,000 in my bank account, I don't think I'm planning to marry like 4.
Okay.
Yeah, Doctor. But I will be hoping on having that much amount of money in my bank account, of course. I mean, thank you. So, lastly to Dr. Hassanizam, yeah, of course, simple conclusion from you, Doctor.
Sure. I think there's a lot of lessons learned from the COVID-19. I think we shouldn't be in the comfort zone. We need to constantly think out of the box. We need to be practical. And actually, there is no status quo. So in that sense, I think we need to be, always thinking forward. Yes, I think COVID-19, inshallah, it will be resolved. But what's next? Just now, Dr. Razman did mention about US dollar. What if there is a World War III in the next 5 years? Are we prepared for that? I'm not painting a rather gloomy picture, but the point I want to make is that are we prepared in all aspects? Just like we saw of the COVID-19 and how it can affect us on so many levels. So I think there's a lot of lesson learned from COVID-19, which we need to really take it and make it count, so that hopefully we have a better future going forward, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Afzanizam. So I think it's a very wonderful discussion we have today. Like, we have discussion about how moving forward on digitalization, TVET, economy, and so on. So I would like to thank you to all of our panels. Thank you so much, Dr. Zuraida, Dr. Razman, Dr. Afzanizam. But before we end our session for today, if I pass back to the MC. So can we take one more picture together? Like, we can take one more picture with our panel today. So I'll pass this to the technical team.
All right. Once again, please be ready. Okay. Countdown in 3, 2, 1. Right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So again, thank you so much to our panels, and thank you to all of our audience for joining us and for staying with us from the start of the event until the end of our forum and discussion today. And I hope that all of us can get insights or benefits from this discussion, because I think it's a very fruitful session and we did touch a lot of things and issues. So it is an honor, of course, for me to moderate this forum, and I would like to apologize if there's any wrongdoings doing me handling this forum. So without further ado, I would like to pass back this session to our MC. On to you, Emir.
Thank you, Ashraf, for moderating such a fruitful session. Also, thank you to all of our panels for sparing their time to join us in this wonderful event and discussion. Indeed, the inputs were fruitful and meaningful to all of us. Finally, our event has come to an end. I can say that we have reached our objectives during this program, and we really appreciate the time and energy you're willing to share with us. Hence, we will end this program. Again, I would like to say thank you to all of you for the participation in this program, and hopefully everyone enjoyed the forum as much as I did. A gentle reminder to all participants in Microsoft Teams and YouTube, do not forget to scan the QR code for your e-certificate before leaving. Also, our society is selling a unique and sleek jersey with a variety of sizes to choose. Therefore, if you're interested to glam your wardrobe with our jersey, please do click on the pre-order link that is attached together with the e-certificate link in the chat box. Hence, let's finally end our program with the song Your ITM Di Hatiku. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you all. Assalamualaikum.
Agar jadi sempurna yang melangkah ke sini ingin mempelajari rahsia di muka bumi dengan cara hakiki. Jujurlah aku jangan destinasi cita-cita negara dan bangsaku. Maju negara, jaya nama. Pendidikan yang kumiliki tentu semua di hati. Janjiku pada pendirimu tetaplah berbakti. Bersempurnakan segenap hati membela negara. Harusku ada untuk semua.
And thank you once again for your participation.
I would like to remind all of our participants to make sure to scan the QR code that we share here for your attendance. So again, thank you so much to all of our panels and to all of our audience. So inshallah, if we are hoping to see you guys in our next event. So on behalf of BAS, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you on our next event, and you can leave the meeting now.
Terima kasih semua.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you, Sida. Oh, sorry,
Thank
Doktor
you, Doktor.
Rashida.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you, everybody, for the good job. Kudos to everyone. I'm menumpang Dr. Azhan ni. Okay, thank you, Amir. Thank you, Ashraf. Ashraf, I'm pretty worried about your ayam.
About ayam?
You dengar tak? I'm pretty worried about your ayam, your chicken sound.
No, itu hari tu I dekat Hulu Langat. Now I'm in KL.
Oh, okay. I kata dengan Dr. Azhan, kata Dr. Azira dengan Dr. Shida, alamak, dengan Haris pun macam mana nak sorok ayam tu nanti.